Hey, my name is Rick. Welcome to this broadcast, this live stream. I'm talking about tmux. This is part 4, if you're keeping track at home. I'm gonna discuss the buffer list that we kind of alluded to in number 6 of this series, and I'll also talk about session management. Mostly I'm going to hand wave that, and then I have a few miscellaneous topics, some neat things that I found doing this stuff. So we're going to get right into it. Just a quick review of copy, select, and paste, which we again covered in the previous video, number 6. Now I have a terminal here, and you know what? I'm just gonna quickly change the transparency of this. I think I can do that here. Just bear with me. Oh man. Color and effects, no background image. Wow, I clearly said it, but yeah. Wow. Nope. Color and effects. Okay. Whew. Thought I knew what I was doing. Yes, I'm going to set this to be completely opaque, just for us to go back and forth between these two terminals. I'll also mention that I have Keycaster going, so if I type in Control B, which is the prefix, you'll see that in a little badge here. I'm going to move that maybe just a little bit there to the bottom so you can see it. So I have tmux running in this window here, but this one is a separate terminal and it does not have tmux running. We're going to use this for the session stuff. We'll also use it to dump some stuff in. If you remember, we had this we'll go here. We'll do a tree of the so we have a tree listing of all of the files in this directory, and there are 80 files. And remember, in tmux we have a copy mode, so we can enter that by doing Control B and then the left bracket. We see a position notation here, and we can then use the up arrow or any of the VI keys, in my case, to navigate this list. To select something, we can press space, and by default it'll be in line mode, in which case you can then do this, and then to capture what you have selected, you press enter. Then to paste it, you press Control B and the right bracket. That's it. So that's the brief summary of copy, select, and paste in tmux. And there's one thing I didn't mention, and you can't actually see it with Oh, there, the function key. Sometimes you do want to go between windows. So if you have this window and this window, you want to select something and put it into the main buffer, if you will, the one that the terminal itself uses. To disable the capability of tmux from selecting something, by default, when you use the mouse, it will select into tmux. To disable that, I found that you can press the function key. And you notice how it's slightly different. And then if you do Apple C, you can then copy this to a separate window. And it's, again, that's something subtle. I was working through that, just trying to get that function right, but I'm rarely in between two terminals. So it is kind of a special case, but it is helpful to know about that capability. So that's a review of copy, select, and paste. tmux remembers every single selection that you've made. It puts it into a buffer, and you can grab it using Control B and the equal sign. So to take a look at what's in the buffer, you can say tmux list buffers, and you see here right away there's 89, 90, 91, 92. So you can use the scrolling to go up, and you can see it remembers a significant amount. Buffer 139 all the way to 89. What is that? 139 to 89 plus 1. So it has 51 positions there. Is that something here? List options. Show options minus G. No, I thought it was maybe something, maybe it's a window option. No, okay. Something to look at for later, but it's clear that tmux is remembering what we've done, what we've pasted. So if I go back to tmux list buffer, you can see all of these things. You may want to say, oh wow, I captured the word search, I captured this file extension, I captured this big cat command, and so on and so forth. And you have all of these in your buffer list. I wonder now if I can do it here. tmux list buffers. Wow, that actually works here. But there's no tmux running here, but because it's accessing the same tmux server, it has the buffer list of a new of the current session that is running. I mentioned that there's a way to select these buffers, and that is with the Control B and the equal sign. When you do that, you can see a ability to press the down arrow or the up arrow to navigate between all of the different pastes selections that you've made. And if you wanted to paste it, you simply select it. So here I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to press enter, and there it is in my prompt. And if you were savvy, you can do something like you can anticipate that you're going to paste it. So you Control B equal, and then say the word buffer, and then there it is. So that's something that's pretty cool that tmux is doing for you. It's remembering everything that you've selected, so you can actually remember, you can actually call back into the history. There's some tools that do that, or I'm sure there's some tools that do that for the Mac. there's a tool that on Windows that I was introduced to called, I think it was Ditto, and it remembers all of the stuff that you put into your copy buffer, which I think is also pretty cool. But then I ended up not using it too much, and it may have also captured passwords and such, which with tmux, when you do copy and paste, copy, select, and paste with tmux, you don't have that much. You don't have that as a problem because you can't copy what you can't see. So tmux, you generally can't copy your password because usually it's hidden from you by the time you're doing a copy and paste. But it's tricky with tools like global buffer capturing, because if you use a password manager, usually it's manipulating the clipboard. But anyway, I'm not prepared to talk about those details, but I did want to mention the copy paste buffer is accessible with Control-BL and the tmux list buffers. Just do be careful of when you're copying things. A lot of these are just wholesale sections of text that I wanted to copy into a file, but you do want to be careful when you're pasting stuff in tmux or from any clipboard manager that you're using. So that's key. I was going to talk about this, but I think we discussed this also in video number 6. Namely, we have here the concept of let's go into this notebook file and just grab one here. Like this one is 60 characters. Actually, let's do it this way. I'm gonna do this list and I'm gonna put the cat in front of it so that I can get line numbering. So now we see there's 81 lines from the last command, and when I do Control B and left bracket to go into copy mode, you see that my position indicator says that I'm at position 0, and as I go up, it really doesn't change the position. But then when I cross into the next page, you see that it goes to 1. So I think that's always been intriguing to me, and you can keep going until we get to the top. So I'm going to say Control U to get to here, and that right there is 50. This is line 50. So if I go to the very bottom and I start going down, I start seeing it eventually getting to 0. Let's see when that happens. But there's still more text below. What are those lines that we're not capturing? It's just the number of lines in the terminal. Remember that you can get that list using Control BQ. There's 33 lines. So if we were to count from here, wow, I think I botched it. But if you were to count from 88 to here, you would see that there would be 33 lines roughly. So let's just get that count again. It's 88. Oh, it's 81. Oh, wow. So that was the final amount. Yeah, so if we go back again, if I go 81 backwards with the K, that's a VI trick. We go to 51, go to the bottom, and eventually we should get to 0. And that is the end of the list. I see. So this is the end of the list, but if I were to do Control B bracket and I start going up, you see that it doesn't count until we get to this. So it's position counter seems a little unintuitive, but I don't really spend too much time thinking about the position counter itself. I guess that's why they have a toggle so you can turn it off. Remember that when you do Control B left bracket and you have 1,800 lines to go back, you can press lowercase g to go all the way to the beginning of the buffer. There's no more further up, but you can then go down. And then you can see I'm doing Control F to go down the page, and I have this thing decrementing. But you can also do Shift G 0. So it's just a small thing. Be advised, you should keep track of your position. Today I was working on a thing at work where my terminal went all the way past 2,000 lines of output, and I was thinking, gosh, I just learned how to set the options for history size, and I wanted to maybe set it to 10,000 just so I could go back. That's still a little unresolved, but that's a work thing. Just be advised about the positioning. Yeah. Why move your hand off the keyboard? Mouse support is there. You can do this, as I said, if you press the first mouse button, or if you press the touchpad and then you scroll down, you get this behavior. I wonder if you could press V here. Yeah, you can also press V to get this kind of rectangular behavior. But that actually was pretty cool to do with the mouse, but you do get that without doing it, without using the mouse. You do get that fine control just by using the VI keys. So yeah, so there's a lot of things you could do with the mouse, but if you are adept with VI or Emacs, if you use the Emacs bindings, you'll be able to use your VI or Emacs skills to select whatever range of text you want without resorting to the mouse. And then session management. As I said in number 6, you can predefine sessions. So we have here tmux list sessions, and there's only one session, Rick, which has 2 windows in it. You can create a new one. So for example, in this installation of tmux, there's an example file that they give us. I'm just going to get it. Brew list tmux. And I think it's I wonder if it's going to update. I wonder if Brew's going to update itself. Okay, it must have done it in the background, but here is this file. I'm going to copy this and view it. This is the example conf file that's here, and with the example you see that you can create a single default session. And there it uses these commands. So if I were to do something like tmux new, and I use -d -s0, what are these commands? We can do man tmux and look for the new. Just find the command here. Hopefully I can find this quickly. Yeah, so this is new session. Notice when you read this in the manual page that it has an alias new. Then it has -D. So we go down here to look at the -D switch. -D behaves like -D behaves like -D. Yeah, with -D, the initial size comes from the global default size option. So that's cool. And then S is the session name. I guess we name it S0. Now we're going to name it SRON. And -N is the window name. I'm going to say -N bash. And for here, I'm just going to say bash. What this command did is it created a session for us. tmux list sessions. Now there's a new session ron, and we can attach to it. We could say tmux attach, and I think we could say target, and it'll give us both ron or rick. So I'm going to say ron, and it should just be one window with bash in it. And sure enough, that's what we have in there. And because you have this capability, I'm going to do less again. Nope. Let me do that whole thing with the brew. Brew ls tmux. Or is it list? It's already forgotten. Okay, good. Now I'll use... You can see that you can set some values into the session and window. That's what this -T is. -T is saying group name, and if I remember right, yeah, it specifies a session group, and the session group, I believe, is session and window. I'm gonna just confirm that here. What? Name of session group. Size of session group. Huh. Okay. I'm gonna do tmux. Show option. Session ID, no. Session group. I thought that's what I did. tmux show option. Session group. I don't think this is a value that I can print, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, it's not. What is this section? Yeah, variables. So these are variables that you can use for programming tmux, but it's not something that it's not an option that we can set or display using the show option. The key, though, the thing that I wanted to communicate is that you can create sessions that you can then leave dormant. If I do Control BD, you can detach from this session, and you can in fact exit this window altogether. And if you go into another window, let's go use this one. You can then look at this and in fact attach yourself to the Ron session, and it'll remember it. And this is super powerful at work where I spend time on certain servers. If I have an account on there, I generally start a screen session. Sometimes they don't have tmux, but if they had tmux, I'll start a tmux session, and I'll even copy in my tmux configuration, and then I'll just detach from it, so that the next time I log into that server, I have my stuff. Now these are long-lived servers, so I can assume that those sessions stay long-lived, but in this, depending on what I'm doing, sometimes that isn't the case. But do keep in mind that you can keep sessions lying around for a long time, and in fact, that's what's happening with this terminal. Here I have this terminal with a man page, and if I do ps-e, it's got a listing here, for example. But if I do Control B and then detach, that disappears. But because of the way I've configured this particular profile, this will reattach to my existing session. So when I double click on this, it reattaches to where I was before. Oh, this is the Ron session. Tmux list tmux list sessions. Yeah. So I'm in the Ron session. So so that's kind of what's happening. I botched that example, but basically I have one long-lived session that I have that I never fully exit from, so that I have my history and such. But that's something that's a possibility with tmux. You can create long-lived sessions. Yeah, reattach. Finally, a few miscellaneous topics as we end this journey looking at tmux on this live stream. You can move windows around. So, for example, if I first of all, let me do it this way. I'll exit this, and I'll just make this a little bigger. And now I'll do tmux new window and htop. So now I have an htop running in this terminal in window number 1. Then I have in window number 0, I have my usual bash prompt. Now maybe you want to do another editing session here, maybe like temp. I think I have something here, bark. So I was looking at some stuff inside of Xcode. Looks like a property file, but nope. Yeah, no, it's a property list file. Anyway, so I have this thing. One is you can first of all, you can move things around using Control B and the less than sign. Now you can see that you have this option to kill and do all this stuff, but you can also swap it. You could swap left or swap right. And that means that if you paid attention, you can see that the htop is now on the window 0 and the bash is on window 1. I'll make this clear that this is an editor session. So if I create a new window here, you can also give that window a name. So you could say Control B, comma, and you can rename this window. I'm just going to name it brick. And now you can do something like this. You could say tmux move window. The source window will be 2. Notice the number is next to the window name. And you can set it as its target, say 3. Now it becomes number 3. Now, one thing that you can't do is you can't do this. Moving a window where there's already a window. Moving a window into a slot for which there is a window already. It says that the index or the slot is in use, but you do have this Control B swap business, so you can do swapping that way, which I don't know. That's pretty cool that you can do that swap like that. There's no equivalent. Oh, there is. Boy, this software. You can do a swap window this way. Let's look up this, because I did not know about swap window. Yeah, the source and destination windows are swapped, so that's pretty cool. So you could say tmux swap window. The source is 3 and the target is 1, and now Rick will become number 3, and yeah, it works just like a charm. So you have the ability to do swapping. There's also Control B and then the right greater than sign, and you can do splits. You can do splits horizontally or vertically, and it will do it. That wasn't what I expected, but you can. Let me do Control B vertical split. Yeah, that's different from my current keyboard shortcuts, but you can do splits using that Control B greater than sign. I like that. Small menus. That's something that is also a new thing for me as I was preparing this live stream. And finally, we have this tmux messages. Oh boy, I'm in this wrong thing here. Control B and the Control B and the tilde. And when you look at this, you see that there is the most recent tmux interaction, the key and the tilde sign. And if you scroll down, you notice that each row has a timestamp. I didn't point that out with the buffer list. Control B equal shows you the buffer list with a timestamp. So the time that I pressed buffer was at 8:45, but here the time that I put in this SHA ID, it would look like Sunday, April 23. Yeah, but getting back to this tilde sign, these messages are interesting because tmux has a programmatic aspect to it, which I've never taken advantage of, but knowing what keys have been entered is helpful, I would imagine, for that kind of a procedure. The different commands. These are considered this almost the events that are being entered into tmux. It's very powerful that you have this available to you, and you can, of course, through programming, manipulate it. I don't have any good ideas for that. I started to look into it and I realized, oh, this could be its own topic, but that's not something that is part of my day-to-day. But I invite you to take a look at that as an option for further tmux use, for advanced tmux usage. Okay, so that's what I have, and I do thank you for checking this out. It's been fun talking about tmux. When I next play around with Unix, I may talk about prompts, specifically the get prompt, and I may talk about command line completion, because that's something that I really enjoy configuring, and I haven't made one for myself, so I might make that be part of playing with Unix. It take a while for me to come up with a new topic, but yeah, check out this channel for more though as I come up with it. Again, thank you for checking this out. I appreciate it, I really do, and we'll take a little bit of a break from both of the YouTube things that I'm doing, but we will catch you the next time.